Junkanoo Goddess. Go ahead, Goddess. The Junkanoo Goddess, go ahead and introduce your team for me, please. Let's start with Anjali. Okay, Angelique seems to be going in and out, so let's go ahead. Next in line, let's introduce yourself, please. Funny.
Okay.
Okay, the Junkanoo Commandos, go ahead and introduce yourselves. Can you guys hear me?
All right, good afternoon, all. My name is Antonio Saunders. I'm the Public Relations Director for the Junkanoo Commandos.
Good afternoon, Alcalano, Billy, and Junkanoo Commandos.
Frog, watch that costume now.
Go ahead, Angelique. Go ahead. Introduce
Oh,
yourself.
I'm Angelique McKay, CEO and founder of the Junkanoo Commandos, project manager.
Okay, Tonya.
Good evening. My name is Tonya Sampson. I'm a dancer with the Junkanoo Commandos.
Good evening, everybody.
Ahead,
Jamal Frog, Jamal Frog Dog Battle, a bell of the Junkanoo Commandos. Also a member of the Roots Junkanoo organization.
All righty then. Okay, so we have the whole team here. I don't know if Papa is going with us. Has everybody introduced? Has Antonio introduced himself?
Yes, I did.
Okay, are we missing anybody?
Timmy said his phone crashed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead now. Welcome, Junkanoo Commandos. It's a conversation with the commandos. We're gonna start with them real quick, but before we do that, we're gonna introduce you to FIE's Legends of Our Time. And our first legend of our time for the night will be read by Mr. Paparazzi, and it's from Miss Charlene Reed. Charlene Reed. Okay, I don't see Papa here, so we'll go ahead. Miss Charlene Antoinette Reed was born on the 29th of October, 1961, on the island of New Providence to the parents of Peter Theophilus and Edith Nestor Reed. Her early education began at Corey Mission Primary Preschool under the patronage of Miss Cynthia Lowe. After completion of preschool, she was relocated to the Wilton Aubrey Primary School on Nassau Street, where she completed 6 years. After the completion of her primary level education, Charlene went to T.G. Glover Junior High School, where she completed 1 year, and in 1974, she sat the entrance exam for the Aquinas College, of which she was successful. Charlene attended Aquinas College from 1974 to 1979, where she studied prescribed courses and graduated with a diploma. She's an active member of the school choir and the Breakfast Club. Ms. Reed started her first professional job in the latest of the 1979 at the telco, where she became a telephone operator in the overseas department on Ponciana Drive. After a few years as a telephone operator, she asked to be transferred to the Central Telegraph Office, East and Bay Street. Charlene was promoted to supervisor in April of 1999, and soon after that, she had 20 years of dedicated service. Since her disengagement from the telco, she worked with the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture Center as manager, and she was responsible for the monthly focus of youth programs for all of the youth of the Chippenham area. Charlene had also worked with the Ministry of Education and Sports Youth Department as a special entry for sports and culture. Charlene got her first debate in Junkanoo as a pacer on the back of lead costumes in the shack of Kenny Mary Fox in Hospital Lane. She was privileged to work there among a group of gifted and talented young men such as Froggy Anton Newbold, Nelson Kevin Robert Robertson, Big Stevie, Lisa Neighborhood, Lee Russell, and her cousin Teresa McRae, just to name a few. After many years crossing the border from Chippenham to Hospeline, Charlene decided to serve the Saxon crew and join forces with the newly formed Roots Junkanoo group. There you have it, folks. Miss Charlene Shah Reed, one of our legends of our time. She's also a member of the NJC at the Ministry of Education presently. So, folks, there you have it, Miss Charlene Reed. So now we are going to get back to the Junkanoo Commandos. Everybody have already introduced themselves. Angelique, we're going to talk about the Junkanoo Commandos. Give us an idea of what the Junkanoo Commandos, when you first came together as a group. And also tell us a little bit about the Junkanoo Commandos and what is your function in Junkanoo.
Well, good night, world. Good night, Junkanoo world as well. The Junkanoo Commandos is an organization that's made up of professional Junkanoo artists from the top 5 A category Junkanoo groups in the Bahamas. We started traveling in 2006. We were not yet dubbed Junkanoo Commandos, and our start with travel began within the archipelago of the Bahamas. We were created to match what our motto in the Junkanoo Commandos is, and that's to positively change the world through the creative arts of Junkanoo. So one of the things, in order for us to change the world, we have to go out to the world to make a change. And we do that with the creative arts of Junkanoo. Our mission is to really expose the world to what it is that we have here in the Bahamas and hold so near and dear to our hearts. We have members from the Valley Boys, the Saxons, Roots, One Family, and Genesis. And that's the makeup today as well, with the members that are present today. Now, Timmy sends his apology. He's a Junkanoo Commando, but he's also a member of the Saxon Superstars. Twista is also a member of the Saxons, so technically they're still here, present and accounted for. The Junkanoo Commandos is an organization. We've traveled from, like I was saying, from our inception in 2006, and we've traveled consecutively every single year, sometimes 2 trips a year, sometimes 3 trips a year. The only year that we didn't travel was the year that our artistic director, Trelon Stewart from the Saxons, he got married. And the festival that we were scheduled to attend took place during the same time as his wedding, so we didn't travel. And 2020 is the second year from our inception that we were not able to travel because of all of the restrictions globally. And this year we actually had 3 trips that were solidified and ready for us to roll. But everything happens for a reason, eh? And the Junkanoo Commandos is an organization that has traveled to over 34 cities around the world. So we're really global. We've been to the UK, we've been to Europe, we've been to the United States, we've done things in the Caribbean, as well as throughout the country. And when we say our travel does not always only entail performances of Junkanoo. We also do presentations on the creative arts of Junkanoo, as well as conducting workshops on Junkanoo. And we would have done three different artists in residency programs as the Junkanoo Commandos. We did one the first one we did was an international one, artist in residency program that we did on the Isle of Wight in the United Kingdom. We were not yet dubbed Junkanoo Commandos at that time, but it was the same makeup of persons. We did not get our official name until the summer of 2008, right? We've also conducted artists in residency program locally in the country, where artists flew in to participate in our artists in residency program, and that one was for 2 weeks. And we did another one in the United Kingdom in Derby, where artists from 4 different carnivals Caribbean carnivals in the UK, participated in that. So we've done artist in residency programs. We also participated in an online workshop where one of the members of our organization, Theo, he did a presentation where persons were able to see the production of a Junkanoo hat. So they were able to participate with that online because that's another one of the trips that we were scheduled to make, but we were unable to make it because of that. But we still did what we could do with the limited resources that we had and the lockdown. So we've been as far as Italy, where we did presentations in Italy. We participated in the third largest carnival in Europe, which is Nice, France, on the French Riviera. We did that. Our most noted performance was on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial for the 50th anniversary of the Dr. Martin Luther King I Have a Dream speech, Let Freedom Ring. We've just been doing what we've been doing. We've been training Junkanoo artists to do what it is that the older members of the organization have been doing. So we do believe in succession planning in the organization. So all of our members are privy to the ins and outs and the operational procedures of the organization. So in the event that any one of the executive members is unable to travel along with the contingent, the membership is able to do what it is that we do based on the training that we do within the organization. So that's just an insight. Also, our organization is run by an executive board of directors, which has 7 members on it. Each member has a vote. So it's even so that any idea that comes to the board has to be unanimously decided on, and then it carries throughout the organization. We also are a self-funded organization. So all of the years that we have been traveling, our organization has been able to do fundraisers to get us to where we are, where we need to be. We also partner with the different festivals and carnivals that we do travel to and perform with. So a lot of the expenses is borne by other organizations as well. We're able to negotiate different things based on what the festival or carnival that we're going to attend, based on their level of funding or their level of sponsorship, in order to execute what it is that we need to do, which is why sometimes our contingents are smaller and sometimes they're able to be larger based on what we're able to negotiate with the partnership with these different festivals. Yeah.
Okay, so everyone here in the Junkanoo Commandos has a different role, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so each one of you, can you go ahead and explain your roles for us, please?
Well, as director of public relations, my job primarily is the easiest one, I like to say. I just capture, and I put myself in a position to capture our group in action, make us look good. That's what I do. They already make us look good, but I actually have to tell the story of us looking good. So my job is the easiest one, I like to say.
All right, sound like an easy job, but I know that's hard.
It's not, because after he finishes with the pictures, then comes the editing. So when everybody is able to relax after the performance, oftentimes he's in his room beginning the editing process for some of the images.
Okay, Froggy, go ahead. What's your role?
Hey, yeah. One of my roles is Isabella, a part of the organization, besides being a team member, besides being a team player. You know, I mean, my role straightforward, but Isabella, part of the organization. Whenever my name called, I there.
There you go. That's it right there, Charmaine. We all have our set roles, but as members of the organization, we play different roles. So wherever the need arises for one of us to plug in to assist in ensuring that our mission is accomplished, that's what happens.
Okay, Trishka.
She mean Eureka.
Yeah. How much names you got, good? Trishka Pinder, Rika Pinder, Junkanoo Commando girl. How much names you got? Can you hear us, Trishka? Sharika, can you hear us?
I think Rika having some technical
Okay,
issues
go ahead,
with her sound. Well, like I said, I'm a dancer with the Commandos, and like Frog said, I am available to assist in any way that's needed. Normally, it's in some finance capacity. I normally assist with anything that has to do with the finances during fundraisers. In the dance capacity, I have assisted and ran dance workshops in the UK with artist exchange program with the MCAN Carnival Group, where I taught Junkanoo dance, specifically Junkanoo dance, to the carnival groups around the UK. So anything to do with dance or anything to do with finance, that's me.
And Charmaine, just to plug this in there, our financial director was on your show last week.
Yeah.
It's just so important that each one of our members, you know, like Frog would have said earlier, we each play more than one role. You know, we have our main role and then we have our supporting cast role across the board.
Okay. Trishka, Rika, you checking your mic is yet? Is your mic working as yet, Rika? She having some issues with her mic. Kalano?
Alano being here. Good evening, all. Trombone player for the Commandos in the brass. Like everybody else, a team player. One time I even was a bella. So that's me.
And so how does one really get to join the Junkanoo Commandos?
Well, but you know, it's the Junkanoo Commandos technically is by invitation only, and the way that works is a member of the organization identifies someone that they feel would be a good fit with what it is that we represent in the organization. Persons in the past have, you know, said that they feel the vision, that they buy into what it is, and as they spend time in the organization, we realize that they're not quite the fit for the organization. So we would issue documents letting them know that, you know, you're no longer a member or your services are no longer required in the organization. Because in addition to your passion and love for Junkanoo, it's also important to be able to be a representative and an ambassador for the country. You know, we have certain rules and guidelines that govern the organization. If persons aren't willing to assist with the fundraising process, then that already tells you don't buy into what it is that we're doing as a team player, because the fundraising programs are what actually fuels us and allows us to be able to move. So we need all hands on deck. And there are other infractions that would allow persons to be issued documentation letting them know that you're no longer a part of the organization. So that's one of the things. So members actually have to be able to vouch for you and recommend that you enter. And then you're also vetted by the executive board. And then there's a 3-month process where you're considered a recruit in the organization so that we could see you in action.
The executive board is made up of Junkanoos also, or do you have persons from on the outside?
Deep Junkanoos. We also have members that do not participate in Junkanoo in the organization, but the executive is Dwight Marshall from Genesis, Trevino Russell from Genesis, Trelon Stewart from the Saxons, Antonio Saunders from the Saxons, Omar Buchanan from One Family, James Fraser from One Family, and Angelique McKay from Genesis. So we're all very much involved in Junkanoo every single season. So it's not like we've taken a step back from Junkanoo. Like, we're very involved in Junkanoo, and we're very involved in the Junkanoo Commandos organization and the forward movement and development of this thing called Junkanoo.
Okay. Well, it sounds interesting, but it just threw me, of course, when you say you could get thrown by vote, or you could.
Oh yeah, we've issued letters of expulsion to quite a number of people over the years. You know, if they just if somebody isn't, sometimes people outgrow organizations that they're a part of, and it doesn't make sense for you to just be named a member on paper if you're not actively involved in the development of the organization. You're just there taking up space, you know, unnecessary space. You're not really interested. You're not doing anything to develop the organization. So we just need to part ways.
Okay, so several times you said you spoke about the different continents and places that Junkanoo Commandos has traveled. Is
Mhm.
this funded by the government or any other entities to help you to make these trips? Do you represent the Bahamas, or how does it work?
The Junkanoo Commandos trips are funded by Junkanoo Commandos. We do fundraisers. We do write grant applications where we try to solicit grant funding from the various entities, both locally and internationally. We have gotten assistance from the government for, I think it was three, that we got assistance for luggage one year. We got assistance when we went to the 50th anniversary. We got financial assistance for that particular trip. We also got assistance for the UK backline tour that we did in 2008 under Charles Maynard. But by and large, this organization is a self-funded organization, and like I said, we partner with the different festivals and carnivals that we travel to ensure that we're able to do what it is that we're able to do. One of the things that um, Jackson told me when we used to have these discussions about what it is that we're doing, I always said that financing was a challenge. And Jackson told me, and it resonates with me, and it will never leave me. If only one member of your organization can make a trip to make an impact, let that one person go. And that has been true to form, because I have traveled to the UK to do presentations on Junkanoo, just me, to national carnival conferences. And as a result of my presentation,
Okay, I think we just lost Angelique for a minute there. But Papa, you have any questions you want to ask? Not at all. Okay, well let's talk junk until we can get Angelique back. What are some of the things, Froggy and the rest of you guys, with this COVID-19 lockdown? What are some of the things that the Junkanoo Commanders are doing to help the community and stuff? Can any, can anybody answer that, or can you hear me? It seems like a lot of you guys are having technical difficulties with your.
Yes, one of the projects that we undertook was a competition with a mask and shoe competition, whereas we spread something out just to keep Junkanoo and the creative spirits alive. We wanted to, I guess, get the community involved through that way, you know, because everybody was in the community, Junkanoo community was sitting idle, and we wanted to just keep that creative spirit going. So I think probably about 2 or 3 months ago, we had a mask and shoe competition. Um, it garnered a good amount of interest from the community, from the Junkanoo community.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, okay, Angelique. So you want to finish what you were saying?
Which part did I cut off on? I'm embarrassed actually.
Because I know BC playing crazy, so we know.
Yes, a lot of stuff is going on. I was saying that we traveled. We started with just dancers traveling, and we were able to make an impact. And if only one person from your crew is able to move, allow that one person to go, because one person can make an impact overall to a community at large, and allow people to see what it is we do with Junkanoo.
Okay, the question that I asked when you was cut off, what are some of the things that the Junkanoo Commandos has been doing since the introduction, well, since the pandemic has hit the shores of the Bahamas in terms of, outreach?
Well, the thing is, we're not the kind of organization that is able to do financial outreach assistance for persons out there, because we are self-funded as well, and we don't have a reservoir of funds to be able to tap into to go out there and do certain things. But what we have been able to do is we've been able to use our talents to assist others out there with certain things. Like we've been advising people in certain things with setting up Junkanoo related businesses. We've been assisting in that. So everything does not always have to be cash related, you know. So relative to outreach, but like I would have said earlier, we still participated with an organization that we had committed to relative to workshops. We still were able to do that.
Okay, so I noticed a few of the times the Junkanoo Commanders have set up different shacks and on most of the sites. I mean, sorry, the different places you go to do presentations. I notice you always happen to have a setup of a shack for persons to come in and see how a shack is made up, the feel of the shack. Could you talk more about that?
Let Frog tell you about that. Frog was a part of the last trip that we went on in 2019, where we put up our pop-up shack. So Frog should be able to tell you a little bit about that, because I want you to realize that I don't have to, the membership that you see here, they need to tell you about the different trips that they would have experienced, because no two trips are alike. Just like no two visits to Bay Street, no two morning is the same. It's the same. So Frog could tell you some information on that last one that he participated in.
So give us some. I want to hear you guys really let the public know your experience that you how you traveled abroad and what you learned from your experience of taking this thing that we call Junkanoo to the world.
All right, so like you were stating about the pop-up shocks, I guess you would have experienced while you were here, because we know we do pop-up everywhere we go. We do a pop-up shop in terms of like the True Festival, and then the Junkanoo Festival we have in January. We just started at Industrial Gardens, but it's basically straightforward in terms of just trying to show the public from start to finish, you know, how we as Junkanooers get to Bay Street, you know, and then we just show the different instruments, the tools. So we go from start to completion, also like the different decorations and stuff, just to give persons insight to show them that, you know, getting to Bay Street in a walk in the park. But besides doing that here, we actually just take it abroad as well to show the tourists them and stuff, or persons where we go. Like normally we do Virginia a lot, and every time we go to Virginia, we do a pop-up shack. You know, same thing like how you were probably seeing at a Choo Choo Festival. So with the Choo Choo Festival, at least we live here, so you know you could transport a lot of stuff. But then in terms of traveling now, you got to catch like 1 or 2 flights. So we have to park these big duffel bags, just loaded down with a lot of cardboard and like tools and stuff. Like if U.S. Customs open, you know, they trying to figure where you're going with all this stuff. But once we set it up and stuff, and
not cutting you off, right? But how do you get to how do you get the pack your costumes? I see those large pieces you guys
Yeah.
sometimes travel with. How do you get that packed, Froggy?
Well, first,
You always have to pay for extra baggage.
yeah, that's why we need some little sponsors. Because them little package faces be a little pricey, especially when you're dealing with certain different airlines. But we just make it happen though. That's one thing I could say, that we just make it happen. And for me, joining the organization, that's like one of my first questions, like how we can get these costumes abroad. And then after my first trip, I was like, all right, it ain't as bad as I thought. Because don't forget, cardboard could bend and cardboard could fold. So you could mash the cardboard down into a little square. So when you get to the hotel room, you open up your bag, you out your costume and stuff like that. And then most of them, in terms of the costumes and stuff that we use a lot of felt, so it could be more easier to transport, But it isn't nothing hard. It look hard, but it isn't hard. But the bike is be really packed, and we have, like I say, from start to finish, we carry cowbells, we carry drums, just to show them the different instruments. We also carry like rods, staple gun, tape, wire. Like I say, from actually starting from scratch, and then like you would have either Traylon, the artistic designer, or you will have Theo Urban K, who also assist him in that area, who would also be working in the pop-up shop to, to really break it down to show you like, hey, that's what's going on. And believe it or not, people are just wow by it, So it's just be a good experience.
Galano?
For me, personally, Junkanoo Commandos is more, and it's bigger than Junkanoo. It's a family figure to me. Where I'm considered one of the youngest in the group, and I was in this group I was in high school some odd years ago. I've traveled to many places with the Commandos and impacted a lot of young kids' life. I remember one time I was in 11th grade, and we did that UK tour where we went to Scotland, London, Manchester, and all them other places. To each place we stopped, we impacted young kids by showing them the artistry work of Junkanoo and stuff like that. And it was a joy to see them, the joy on their face, to see, So like I say, I was here for some time. In 2015, I took a break because I went off to school, where I just recently graduated with my bachelor's degree. And now I'm back. So hopefully I can pick up where I left off.
Tonya and Sharika, y'all two is the gals out front.
Oh, yes.
Experience and where you've traveled to, and what does this thing called Junkanoo feel like for you going all around the world to represent our culture?
Can I give my introduction first?
Go ahead.
Okay, once again, my name is Sharika Pender. I am the administrative coordinator for the Junkanoo Commandos. I have been in the Junkanoo Commandos for 7 years now. What I do is liaise. Oh, yes. And counting. What I do is liaise between the executive team and the members. So anything between practices, meetings, fundraising, anything, just to keep everyone abreast of what's going on in the organization. And I'm a dancer out front, like you said, me and Tonya, both. Now, some of the places I visited was Virginia, Baltimore, mainly Virginia. It's been so many. What we do is display the Junkanoo from the building aspect to bringing everything up to costume wise, and then the performance. What I like to see is at the end of the day, when we finish, what I like to see is, what I like to see is the end result. The journey along is excellent, is great, is fun for me. But the end result at the end of the day is watching all that we taught about Junkanoo, from the building to the painting, to the pasting, to the putting on the costumes and putting on the show, and let the students display what we taught. That's my favorite part of it.
I think we're getting a feedback from somebody S10 phone.
What does that mean?
Yeah, mute that mic for me, please, Angelique. That particular mic.
Okay. Sorry.
Go ahead, Rika.
Okay. Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, I was saying the best part of it for me is looking at what we teach the students, from the costume building to the painting, to the pasting, to the designing, and at the end, letting everyone do the performance in the costumes. And that's from the wire and the flat cardboard that we travel miles and miles with. So we don't carry any costumes when we do the teaching aspect of it. The students there, we teach them how to build up the costumes and how to paste and all this other stuff. And at the end, we teach them a little dance routine between Tanya and myself.
Okay, go ahead, Tanya.
Well, I'm actually one of the newest members in the Commandos. I've been a member 2 going on 3 years. My first trip was to the UK, Nottingham, UK, and the surrounding areas. We actually spent 3 weeks there, almost 4 weeks, 3.5 weeks there, visiting with different carnival groups and teaching them Junkanoo, and it was an amazing experience. From, like you said, putting a whole costume in one suitcase, because you only had one suitcase included. If you wanted another one, you had to pay for that.
Yeah, our budget, we have to always stick within our budget, Charmaine. We've learned to be very, very disciplined with that, because of the cost associated with the travel.
Yeah. So from arriving in Manchester, and one of the fellow commandos' suitcase with his costume was in Turkey. So we was in London, and our first show was in a day and a half, and his costume is in Turkey. So that was the crazy introduction I had into traveling with the Commandos, but it did make it in time, and we did make the first show in time. But working with the young people, not just young ladies, because we have a few male choreographed dancers in Junkanoo compared to the amount of males that participate in choreographed dance and carnival. So they had almost an even split between guys and girls in the carnival dance groups. So working with young ladies, young guys, and showing them that we actually dance to live music, where they dance to recorded music. And it appears that they didn't really have that hands-on experience that Junkanooers have. So the carnival experience of paying your money and then just picking up your costume the night before the parade, as opposed to Junkanoo, where you spend hours and hours and blood, sweat, and tears and money in constructing a costume that you have this soul connection with. So it was a sharing experience. And you know, the following year I was able to go to the UK again. We actually were invited by the former US ambassador to the Bahamas. His son was getting married, and they love the Saxons, and they invited the Junkanoo Commandos to come and rush at the wedding rehearsal dinner. So it was a complete surprise to the bride. She didn't know we were coming, but she knew that her fiance grew up in the Bahamas, or lived in the Bahamas, and he just wanted to share that small aspect of his Bahamian life with her. So to think that somebody loved Junkanoo so much that they flew in a Junkanoo group for their wedding to just share that piece of culture with their bride, that, that's mind blowing.
Right. Well, thank you so much for telling us a little about it. And at this time, we're gonna go to a different segment, another one of our legends of our time segment, powered by Bahamas Welding and Fire. And folks, we have tonight Mr. Quentin Joseph Woodside. People, this family here, born on the 26th of March, 1962, to the late Mr. Garnet and Mrs. Van Rhea Woodside. Quentin was educated at Oaksfield Primary School, H.O. Nash Junior High School, and C.C. Sweeting Senior High School. Quentin, a people's person, began his career as a busboy at the Lowe's Harbor Cove Hotel on Paradise Island. It is here that his energetic, eager work received the nickname Barabbas. When asked to select a busy busboy, two captains, Charles Sweeting and Cleveland Hepburn, responded, "Give us Barabbas." Quentin has been a friend to the Center for the Deaf, his personal favorite, the Stapleton School, and numerous civic and community-based organizations. He has been honored by the Rotary Club, bestowed with the title of Paul Harris Fellow, receiving a certificate, pen, and medallion. In 2018, Quentin was honored by Queen Elizabeth II at the Institute ceremony on the 9th of July. He received the British Empire Medal, Civil Division, for his contribution to business and community. Mr. Woodside is the owner of Junkanoo World Museums and Art Center, providing local craft souvenirs, Junkanoo supplies, and preserving the art of Junkanoo through tours, music, and pasting classes. Quentin is married to the former Maureen Smith and is the father of one daughter, Madison Page. Although he delights in telling everyone he meets he has thousands of sons, Mr. Woodside is grateful for this honor to be bestowed on him. So we here at FIE's Junkanoo Rush salutes one of our legends of our time, Mr. Quentin Barabbas Woodside. There you have it, folks. My cousin, I call him Robbie. Barabbas Woodside is one of our legends of our time. So, folks, we introduced that section to really let the world know that we have so many different persons from throughout the Commonwealth of Bahamas, who put their time and effort and years, I mean, without being offered a penny, just for the passion of it, to make sure this thing that we have called Junkanoo goes so much further. So that's one of our legends of our time, our second legend for the night, and we'll have one more before we close out for the night. So Junkanoo's Commandos, let's get down to the nitty gritty now. Let's talk some real Junkanoo talks. We was just going piece through everything else.
Before you get to the nitty gritty, I know what the nitty gritty could be, but I also wanted to mention that the Junkanoo Commandos launched, like Frog would have mentioned it earlier, the Bahamas Junkanoo Art and Music Festival. And that's a festival that is fueled by the Junkanoo Commandos. They're the lead organization with the production of that festival. And actually, I was very instrumental in a lot of the planning, but the lead person for the festival moving forward is James Fraser.
Okay, and before you go on, give us an idea of when the festival is normally held.
The festival is held the third week in February. The third weekend. So it's a 2-day festival that highlights the creative arts of Junkanoo, and it gives Junkanoo artists an opportunity to sell their costumes that they would have participated in, that they would have worn in either the Boxing Day or the New Year's Day parade on Bay Street of each year. So we create opportunities for Junkanoo artists to monetize what it is that they pour their hearts and soul into during the holiday season.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I give props to the Junkanoo Commandos for that festival, folks. But because the festival allows a lot of Junkanooers to exhibit their costumes and to be able to sell them and to get some kind of revenue for all of the monies that they've already put into it. So I wish more Junkanooers would come out and support. You know, we didn't have it this year, correct?
We did have it, and
Oh, yeah, that's true.
we
Gee,
had
what are
it,
you
and
talking
then
about? I was right there.
the
We did have
and then the lockdown came
I attended that Saturday,
shortly after. Yeah,
right? And shortly after that, COVID take over.
kicked the
But
world,
you know,
and
it was well
yeah,
attended, and I would like to say that you know I would like more Junkanoos to come out and participate. We need to push more effort and time into ourselves and support one another more when we have functions and different things like this to propel our culture, sorry, to a different level.
yeah.
Go ahead, Anthony. You were saying something else?
So I was saying that the more Junkanoo artists that are able to support us, and it looks like the festival is going to take a different look this year because of COVID-19, and we don't know what it's going to look like for 2021, but we are watching everything in order to be able to do what we can do. And the Junkanoo community could just continue to follow the Junkanoo Commandos page or the pages of the members so that we could see how best we can execute the festival, because one of our main goals for that festival is to be able to allow Junkanoo artists to generate revenue from their Junkanoo art.
But I don't understand why more Junkanooers don't get involved in it because it's a good way of, you know, promoting yourself to the world.
But you know, people are a bit skeptical with things that are new. You know, we had more persons showcase costumes this year, but the rain hampered a lot of what we envisioned would have happened, because the first day of the festival in the initial year was the day where buyers came to view the costumes. And the Saturday, it was a rainy Saturday. So it rained off and on, and it was heavy rain. So that would have hindered persons. So the sale of costumes was significantly lower in year two than it was in year one.
Wow, yeah, the rain really played a part
Yeah.
in that, in terms of, but Anthony, I also noticed there, man, some of those pieces, those persons, in terms of pricing, is there a high or low? Because some of those costumes that I see people was asking $2,500.
The artists identify the cost for their costumes. We don't get involved with any of that. We just have the artists sign a contract letting them know that we will have a security there to ensure that nobody takes anything off of their costume. If your costume is sold on Saturday, it still has to remain at the festival for Sunday. You know, that it will be covered. We'll have sightings to ensure the protection of your costume, basic things like that. But we don't get involved because we don't know what the value that an artist puts on their piece of work. You know, so artists, and we don't get a percentage. We haven't gotten a percentage of that. But what it is, and we do realize, is that we don't really have art festivals in the country. So with the introduction of this one, we're able to begin to do some of the things that international art festivals do with highlighting and showcasing. Because one of the things that we also introduced this year, and we were in a position and getting ready to push it, is that even if your costume was not sold at the festival, we would still have it online for sale. But COVID-19 threw a monkey wrench in all of the plans for everything that we had identified to execute.
This COVID-19 has thrown a monkey wrench in most of our plans, but
Yeah.
throughout, from we have started the virtual show on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
and somehow throughout every episode, we have a little conversation on COVID-19. So we talk about that right now, you know, before we
Yeah.
go further. One of the things that was adamant, as all of us can see, we are now on the second wave of it. And it seems as if we don't put a check on it. I think I just got the new new chart for the day. And folks, I can tell you no lie. The chart now, we now at 7:15.
Yeah.
Getting high.
7:15.
Yeah.
And I think before July, we opened up the border. We was like 108, 104, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So between um, July 1 and August 4th, we jumped from 104 to like 715. That's in the entire Bahamas. Now we down to the Keys and Cat Island, Berry Island, Morris Island, Grand Keys, Zuma, Agua. Everybody having cases now.
Yeah. I think we're seeing more numbers because we're doing more testing as well.
Yeah.
And the Junkanoo Commandos are definitely a part of the Prime Minister's Citizens Army. You'd see we had one of our members, Ghost, produced flyers encouraging persons to adhere to the proper protocols associated with it. And we also did that mask up, mask on, mount up art competition to encourage more awareness and safety associated with it. So we are doing our part as members of the community and as Junkanoo Commandos to try to encourage persons to practice social distancing, wear your mask, and to sanitize.
Well, I must say again, we've had so many different persons on the shows talking about different areas of COVID-19, how it's been affected. We've had the bankers talking about this is the time now to save monies, which is stressing to to try save monies, try stay safe, stay inside,
Mhm.
practice wearing your mask, practice hand sanitation, and stop going to all these gatherings because it ain't look like we can have no junk room no time soon.
No. Well, we can't. We can't get in the shocks and do anything. It's hindering the Junkanoo Commandos process as well.
Huh?
We wanted to start our costumes over the holiday weekend and we couldn't do that.
Costumes for what the upcoming parade or
We have Junkanoo Commandos, we have seasonal costumes. So our theme has already been designed for this year. So of course it's gonna roll over to next year. And we wanted to start production on those costumes. But now we still have to wait it out as well with the lockdowns and the curfews and everything like that and see how it goes.
Yeah,
well,
so not to cut in, right? Just if you look at my background, this is actually a commando's costume. So like this would we have to tote in our suitcase, fold it up there tight, neat, and then when you get to the hotel, you try to put it together. So if you can look at it, Charmaine.
yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, we
I,
call it one the garden. So you can see
that's
all.
just the top though, eh?
Yeah, I mean my head bend down. That's the whole complete thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the example of what we have to travel with.
But one of the things I wanted to talk about too, we talk about this lockdown, being locked down, and a lot of people. I came off of Facebook today. I normally just come off, scroll through, come off, and go do what I have to do, and be off and on again, checking the pages and stuff. And one of the things I saw a lot of people talking to, complaining about the short lockdown, and you know, and this is my opinion. This is my opinion, Goddess. You know, last week when we had the lockdown, he came out and said you give you a couple extra days to shop, right? So I feel like those couple extra days we weren't sure if we were gonna get complete lockdown for 2 weeks just from a hurricane. So I mean, a lot of people complaining about the short lockdown, but we have to know now that we have to be prepared. We have to live with this for a while. So
Yeah.
you have to constantly be every day be prepared in case of a lockdown or something to happen. So
See,
and I don't
one
think
of the
we
things
listen
we
a
we
lot
do,
too because
Charmaine.
there says 3 days, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for shopping. So we don't have to run to the shop because he called lockdown for the last minute. You have tomorrow still. You have Friday, and then you have next week Monday again.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
See, my thing is we just need to continue to say the same things over and over again, you know, and we need to do things that will capture the attention of persons. Now, your two main sponsors for tonight, for instance, like I said, we're a part of the Citizens Army and we did the mask on Mount Up. You have, this is FIE. FIE is a partner for that particular initiative, and you have Bahamas Building and Fire, and they were also a partner for that initiative. And when you find like-minded organizations throughout the community that help you spread the word with something like this, then you latch onto them and you run with it. And like I said, we produce the flyer as well, and we're going to continue to post that in an effort to attract persons' attention. See, so we have to individually do our part to get everything out there.
Well, it's sad that we're not following the protocols because it's making it hard. The innocent suffering for the guilty. You know, and how you guys feel? I'm understanding now. Well, we all know now there's not going to be any Junkanoo season canceled.
Devastated.
Call the name, Charmaine. They can just stare at the camera. Call the name.
Devastated.
Let's see how everybody feel about that. We could say devastated. What you got to say to that?
I miss shaking up.
What?
No, why?
Feelings mutual, miss beating up out of brass. Best brass in the country, the Valley Boys.
Because wait on, Kalano. I want to hear why Rika was shaking up.
I said I missed shaking up.
Oh, you
know,
missed shaking
camera
up.
time and show time and performing for the tourists and your friends and stuff. You know, when I perform and I go to work the next day, everyone is be like, "Oh, I just see you on TV," and of course, you know, I have to show them a little two-step dance. So I missed all of that. All of the camaraderie with my fellow Junkanoo friends, all of that I miss. All of that. The shock time, the shock talks, everything. All of that I miss.
Tonya.
Well, for me, it's bittersweet. So on one hand, I miss it, but on the other hand, I kind of feel like, you know, every year Junkanooers say this is my last year, or I'm rushing next year, or I want to spend the Christmas in New York and see the snow for Christmas. Which you can't travel, but you are forced to take the year off. And on one hand, I miss it, and when I watch the videos on my phone or hear the music on TV or Facebook, it's sad. But on the other hand, I'm kind of glad that we have this free time to focus on some other things, some other aspects of our lives that we tend to neglect because we have this one-track mind, Junkanoo, eat, sleep, drink, everything Junkanoo. So I think it's good to have this time to focus on some other things.
Interesting.
Yeah, for me, I in between. Me and Tanya, we could ride because I feel the same way. At least I know this year I ain't eating no glitter. I know that for sure. Like watching the emancipation videos. That's what, yesterday or 2 days ago, because you know when these rushes come, you know, emancipation wasn't fully attended like that no more, but I had to feel some kind of way. Like, boy, if Junkanoo was going on right now, I would have been right there in Foxville ringing my bells or something. But COVID is a good thing and it's a bad thing. So it's a curse and it's a blessing at the same time. And honestly, like a lot of people like Tanya say, you know, you want to take your little break, you say you ain't rushing no more. So I guess just the time now for everybody to go on their little break, what they're talking about. And just the time now for the heads to make changes now. in terms of Junkanoo moving forward, progress, doing things different or trying new stuff or something. Like just the time to start putting stuff in place. So when next year reach now, you just line up and go. But at the same time, I miss it and I miss it. So I can enjoy myself on my little break.
So you can eat your Christmas dinner.
Yeah, man, corner shan grouper, and ding. I can be straight
No,
with no glitter.
no Christmas dinner at
And
the
I can
shack
be,
this year.
yeah, I can be well rested.
I am I don't know. I think I'm gonna miss it, but I still prefer to be safe than because Christmas. I have never spent Junkanoo off at Christmas time off the island. I've always been in home when it's Junkanoo time. Because even if I didn't make it to Bay last year, but I still felt everything happening and going around me and see the people moving around and the spirit that you get when everybody thinking of being on Bay Street that morning and can't sleep that night and you know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I sure if traveling is permitted by December, I sure a lot of Junkanoo families will try and experience that foreign lifestyle, that Christmas lifestyle,
That's no lifestyle.
yeah, that snow lifestyle. Because the only thing you do is just sit down and watch past parades. And then if
But
it's
you
still
know what?
going,
It's a good thing because a lot of
yeah,
people said that a lot of times you rushing, so you don't really get to experience yourself.
yeah.
You
But
don't
I
get
ain't gonna
to
lie,
see
if
the
you
full
on,
parade. Either one group lining up in the front of you, you can't see them going on, and then when you
yeah,
get on, times you get down, a couple more coming behind you.
yeah.
So
But for me, if I ain't rushing, then it's hard for me to watch Junkanoo. So if I ain't rushing, I'd rather be on. I don't know if people that's going to watch Junkanoo and
I mean,
participate.
standing
That's
behind
kind of,
barricade.
yeah, like that's a painful feeling.
Antonio, what you say to that?
Well, for the past 5 years, I spent my time in Exuma. That's where I was for the past 5 years, and I had the opportunity to rush down in Exuma with the Exuma Crusaders. Um, I'm gonna miss the camaraderie. I mean, we get caught up in Nassau with the big groups, but it's the same thing on the family islands. There's a lot of good fun. It's communities getting and the camaraderie that you get to share with. I'm gonna miss spending time with the brothers, um, the young fellas, because everybody, young kids, they're eager to have their name in the family islands. Their goal is I want to rush on Bay Street. I want to be on Bay Street. So they're they're hard at it, getting their game together. They're trying to figure out how to improve so they could be up to the level to for when the name is called to go on Bay Street. But I'm gonna really miss the camaraderie and spending time in the shack around, the elder statesmen on the island of Exuma.
So now that you say that you in Exuma, tell us a little bit about Exuma Junkanoo. What is the experience there with Exuma Junk? How many groups are in Exuma actually?
Um, there are three groups. There are three groups down there. I can't remember all the names, but I rushed with the Crusaders, which is head by Mr. Kenneth Nixon. Um, the experience down there, it's it's at the level of a B group Junkanoo. It's very competitive. Um, Funding is a big deal. I mean, if they had more support financially, it would take off big time because the guys in Exum are very creative. They can get things done. They make little out of nothing. They make the little with the little that they have. They create big costumes and they're anxious and they're happy about getting things done to build Junkanoo and Exuma. And you'll be surprised there are actually a lot of Exumians that are in Junkanoo groups here in New Providence. So a lot of the guys from Exuma, they would come over, because Junkanoo, I think it's the day after Boxing Day. So it'll be December 27th most times, if weather permits. Because a lot of guys, they would rush with the groups in Nassau, then they'd fly over that night to come and participate in the group Junkanoo the next day. That's just the love that they have for their island and Junkanoo.
And it's held in which settlement?
It's held in Georgetown.
interesting. Very interesting. Milano, you could finish that up for us?
Oh yeah, for me, I really miss Junkanoo. I miss hanging out with the brothers, man. I am part of the Valley Boys Brass, and that's where we just come to
Part
practice
of who?
and hang out. The Valley Boys Brass section.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's where we come to hang out together and just do our thing. And it's kind of bittersweet that we don't have that no more, but we still try to communicate on a daily basis. You know, but then again, we get the rest too. So and do other things with our life. So it's bittersweet for me, but I definitely miss it,
So
brothers.
this year you'll be eating your ham and turkey too.
Yeah, for sure.
This year could
I
be
always get that
different.
in the shot. You know, the same here.
It's interesting because I'm understanding that some virtual activities may be happening, just like how we've been doing for the past couple of months. As you can see now, I think that's been MOTA. Angie is doing
Yeah, the
some
Ministry of Tourism
is
has
doing.
launched a competition. They've done a lot of things similar to what you would have done as well.
Yeah, that's what I noticed.
Yeah, they have. So maybe Ministry of Tourism is partnering with the JCMP as well, for the virtual stuff, and probably with are you on the committee
Which committee?
for the virtual Junkanoo stuff that the JCMP spoke about?
The only committee I on is FIE's Junkanoo committee, which you see in here right now.
Oh,
And
okay, then.
like you say,
My bad.
we get the ideas. We are thinkers, and
Mm-hmm.
they and create these stuff off of thoughts that have already been presented.
Mm-hmm.
So
Go
we
ahead,
try to
Junkanoo Beast.
keep up with everything, and I try to
Mm-hmm.
keep it going by always trying to step outside of the box to just keep Junkanoo alive.
Yeah,
You know,
you.
just
I mean, Charmaine, you do a wonderful job at what you do, and FIE has been fueling you from day one. That brand doesn't leave you out in the
that's
cold,
my
that's for
twin. He can't
sure.
leave me.
Oh,
That's my twin. He can't leave me. And I'm glad I'm given the opportunity to really speak about Junkanoo, about it, and giving all of you guys the opportunity to come and express yourselves,
and we
on how you
appreciate
feel,
that.
what's going on in Junkanoo, and how you feel the way forward, and just to talk and have conversations on the development of how we see Junkanoo moving forward. Because we have a lot of people, we don't know who's watching us around the world, and I get calls all the
Mm-hmm.
time from different places just talking about me keeping the page up and relatively keeping them abreast of what's happening in Junkanoo and Nassau, because you know people miss home, and where they
Yeah.
even just as conversation and hearing our dialect as speaking, they feel closer to home, especially when we talking about our culture, what we love. They feel home, more at home.
Your
So
your page is your page is a lifeline for Junkanoo stuff. So if something is going on and people say, well, something Junkanoo's going on, we always be like, well, go to Junkanoo Rush page because Charmaine putting stuff up. So when you miss a Junkanoo event, it's like a void out there in cyberspace if you don't put stuff up.
well, see, I try my best. I stopped about a year ago, actually trying to go to everything because
Hmm.
it wasn't making sense to me. Because even like when you try to ask people to support you, people don't just try to support your initiative. So I had to just like ease back off of it a little thing because it was too much tension being pressed on me. Like if I wasn't there, I was supposed to be there, but nobody was know how it's being funded or streaming and how all these things take time and effort
Hmm.
and money and it pulls you. So I was glad for the little break, and I was glad when some of my friends like you and some of the other girls asked me, you need to get back into pushing junk. I still kept the pages going, but to come create the show back, to let every junkanoo or even persons from every walk of life to come and verse, their opinion on different aspects of junkanoo, from the revenue to the banking to the, and that's why all of the shows have basically been based on what's happening now during during this time. And what I try to do is think about different ways to entertain people in this lockdown so we could have some creativity
Yeah.
or something going on to keep our minds going. Yesterday, I ran a Facebook change up, looked like a few things because I was like, when I woke up and I was like, it was 6 something in the morning. I said, boy, I should start running that. I could have feel I was in Foxhill. I wake up looking around like, Mother's man, I ain't in Foxhill, eh? And then I was like, you know what, Shai, what happened? You ain't line up your watch party, boy? So I had to go through, must see hundreds of video on my
Wow.
page to just try find a couple of the Foxhill ones. So I find some with everybody. I say, thank you, Lord, 2018.
Mhm.
So at least I was able to run that for about 30 minutes yesterday to, just let us feel a little feel of what Foxhill was
Yeah.
all about. But we can get it together. We can get it together. But everything takes time and
Yeah.
the right minds in the right places. We see a lot of things and people talking about Facebook and talking about this and talking about, but they don't realize it takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of time consuming. There's a lot of thinking have to be done into
Behind
things.
the scenes, yeah.
And you have to have sponsors because now we on that's current. That's what you call it? Internet. That's producers. That's different
Yeah.
things. I thank God for FIE. I thank God for Live and Farmers Weldon and Fire who came on board and put all their trust in me to be able to keep this thing that we have called Junkanoo going. And whilst that we are talking about that, I am running for the next couple of weeks. I'll be running some trivia questions, and we're giving out gift packs from Alive. And today, let me see his name. Tico Fred Russell won a gift packet. So if he's listening in any of his friends, let him know to go and check the page. Please inbox me. We have the live gift packs that we are giving away. And it's a pretty little gift pack. You get a hat, you get a drinking bottle, you get a phone charger, you get a t-shirt.
They're good gifts.
Little giveaways. And also I still have some I'm gonna run some more stuff with Coca-Cola. I still have some sodas and stuff. So
What about the FIE water bottles? We got some of them from at the festival from the FIE Smokers Lounge.
So we have quite a little things that we want to keep Junkanoo going out there. So if anybody that's listening and interested in sponsoring us or sponsoring some giveaways or anything, they can always inbox me here on Facebook or they can find me and just give me a call or my or WhatsApp me 457-3811. We be willing to just keep this thing what we call Junkanoo alive going. So, folks, we've already been talking for an hour and 20 minutes before we do our last section of Legends of Our Time, powered by Bahamas Weldon and Fire. And, folks, we got like 100 and some of them legends that we want to put people out there. And we're not just doing the few are always recognized. We're recognizing persons who we know have been hitting this ground for years and years and putting their time and effort and making this thing that we have Junkanoo happen. So this was I just thought about this one day. I was just laying down and said, what we need to my unsung hero series really made me thought of the legends because over the past couple of months we've had quite a few of
Need the bed?
persons passed.
Okay.
And so those persons who passed were one of we had to use their unsung videos that we did. I was able to, give the families episodes to be able to share, to see their loved ones talking for the last time, even talking about Junkanoo, and it was sad, it was good, and it was sad because at least we got to see them in real life talking about what their passion was. So now we're gonna put up our last legend time for the night. Miss Stacy Bullard. Stacy Lee Bullard. Let's talk about Miss Stacy Lee Bullard, better known as the Saxon's Queen. She was born on March the 18th, 1971 to Lily Mae Forbes and Charles Bullard was never a stranger to Stacy. Her father was one of the first dancers to be part of the Shell Saxon Superstars. And anybody know when you hear Stacy Bullet, you know that's a Saxon. She's currently married to Mr. Johnny Lee, a Junkanoo legend himself, and both of them career started in 1991 in the Park Boys studio in Mason's Edition, where she learned pasting and decorating costumes. After perfecting the craft, her husband, Johnny Lee, along with a few others, formed a Junkanoo shop called Party and Pace. Party and Pace have known to won lead costume category for the last 3 consecutive years. Eventually, this became one of the well-known Junkanoo shops and became a second home. In fact, the Junkanoo shop to Stacy and her husband is a home away from home, and it works easier as a community activist in the Masons Mission area. A lot of times, the Junkanoo committee meetings and socials are also held at the shop, as well as tutoring classes. It takes pride. She takes pride in sharing her knowledge and her craft with the youth of her community. Stacy has won many awards. She started winning her first awards at the age of 12. She has had 4 second place finishes, 3 third place finishes, and 1 fourth place finish in New Providence, and was also fortunate enough to place first in the Junkanoo Festival held in Abaco, being recognized as the first free dancer to win the Feel the Rush Junkanoo Parade in Freeport, Bahamas. Stacy also participated in Junkanoo all year round, including the Labor Day parades, New Year's parade from 1991 to now. And she has never in her entire life missed a Boxing Day or a New Year's Day parade. Junkanoo has entitled her the opportunity to travel to many family islands as well as the United States of America, and also she has also participated in the Martin Luther King parade in Miami, Florida. She is elated to be displayed in this thing that we call our Bahamian culture, and has been doing it for 29 years. Folks, this is one of our legends of our time, Miss Stacy Lee Bullard, the Saxon's Queen. There you have it, folks. Stacy Lee, the Saxon's Queen. One of our legends of our time, sponsored by Bahamas, Weldon, and Fire. So, folks, you see, we got some people been doing this thing long time.
Long time.
Long time. Nobody know about them, and it's sad that so many times you've got to be in a clique to get a legend award. That's a joke.
This control rock, eh?
I ain't trying to rock. That's true. Sometimes you got to be in a clique to get an award. And my thing is this: we have a lot of people out there that deserves to be recognized, and we're gonna recognize.
We weren't in a clique, and we have the Cacique Award, and we're the only Junkanoo organization to have received the Cacique Award from the Ministry of Tourism for what we do on an international scale.
I mean, like, somebody really got to be pushing for you, because your name got to be sending, and it's like you're getting voted by certain persons to be sending, you're getting voted by certain persons to be awarded, an award.
Mm-hmm.
So therein, as it stems to favoritism and all that stuff. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah. Well, you know how it go.
What exactly is the Cacique Award, by the way?
Well, we were up against other persons that were nominated for that award. And our Cacique Award is in the creative arts. So it shows what we would have done within the tourism industry with the creative arts, and our traveling to all of those different cities around the world will actually luring visitors to come to the Bahamas by way of Junkanoo. So we're the Pied Pipers of Junkanoo, so to speak. So we go out there and we let them hear it, and then they follow us back to the Bahamas.
Okay, so That's exciting because I always hear people talk about the casino board, and I never really knew exactly.
They
what
have
it was.
several different categories.
And that is from the Ministry of Tourism or
Tourism. Yeah, the Ministry of Tourism. So they have hotelier of the year, chef of the year, um, a tour of the year. They have several different categories that persons nominate organizations or individuals for. Mixologist of the year. So it's a lot of different areas and categories.
folks. Well, it's been a great show tonight. Speaking to the Junkanoo Commanders, I would like to thank all of you for taking time out of your busy schedule to let the viewing public know exactly what the Junkanoo Commandos stand for, your community efforts, and everything that you put forward to make this thing that we call Junkanoo and take it to the entire world. So we here at FIE's Junkanoo Rush, feel it in your belly. Angelique, that's my thing, man. Feel it.
And we always feel it. You know, once we see you, we know we can hear that. Once we see you, we know we can hear that.
Listen, y'all don't understand where that feeling come from. Let me do a little explanation for that before I sign off. So many years ago, when I used to be in charge of the Junkanoo and the parade management team, people used to always, when we talk and we try to explain to them what Junkanoo is and the rules. And, I say, you always got to put yourself in that person that is rushing on the road. Put yourself in their costume. Put yourself in what they're feeling. Let this feeling come from within you. And when you hear that drum and you hear that roll and you hear that's a feeling that's come from your stomach. So it's come all the way up as a spirit. And that's where I get that from. Feel it in your belly. There you have it, folks. My explanation for why I always say that. And I always get these goosebumps when I say that. We at FIE's Junkanoo Rush, sponsored by Alive, and we thank Bahamas Welding and Fire for sponsoring our Legends of Junkanoo section, which you will be seeing many of. And don't be surprised if somebody on this gonna be another legend of Junkanoo in our time. So there you have it, folks, from FIE's Junkanoo Rush, powered by Alive. Feel it in your belly. Folks, have a good night. Tune in next week, Tuesday, when we shall have some special guests. And also, go ahead and join the Junkanoo Rush page to win some of those trivias that you see us putting up on the Junkanoo Rush page. Just send an invite. We will include you on the page. So everybody here, be safe for the night. And we'll see you again soon. Thank you so much.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Link up.